Back mountain of the Divine Dragon Sect, in front of the 297th Patriarch of Divine Dragon Sect, Zhao Wudi's grave, a girl was crying and talking. She said to his masters that she really can't help it. Before he died, he passed the position of Patriarch to her. However, now the Divine Dragon Sect has been brutally destroyed, the younger brother has been arrested, and the younger sister went missing. She bowed down in front of that grave and said that she is now desperate. She grabbed her bag and said, sorry to her master. She said it's really not the disciple who wants to slip away. It's just that as the 298th generation of the Divine Dragon Sect, if she die, then the Divine Dragon Sect will really be extinct. When she was going down the mountain, she saw another grave. She stops in front of it, 13th Patriarch of Divine Dragon Sect, Ye Yun's grave. She puts her bag down and goes near that grave. She said that it's all his fault, 100,000 years ago, after provoking a large number of enemies, causing their Divine Dragon Sect to fall. At that time, others said that their Divine Dragon Sect has done bad things and we deserved it. She kicked that grave. She turned back saying until now they had to struggle all day and night to survive. Suddenly a skeleton had comes out of the ground and grabbed her leg. She shouted and falls to the ground. That skeleton full body comes out of the ground. When she saw that the skeleton is moving, she thought it's a ghost and she screams loudly. Skeleton stand up and ask her, did Shar scold him just now? She was too shocked. When that skeleton saw his own hands, it said, after staying 100,000 years in the space, this body has become like this. He raised his hands, and a blue light was coming out of his hands. He told her to wait for him to reshape the body first. And suddenly flesh grew back on that skeleton. That skeleton turned into a human in front of that girl's eyes. She asked him, is he a ghost? He said he is the 13th Patriarch of the Divine Dragon Sect, Ye Yun. When that girl heard that, she saw too surprised. She bowed down in front of him and said, she is really sorry. She didn't mean to scold him just now, ancestor. Ye Yun asked her that. This is the back mountain of the ancestral shrine of the Divine Dragon Sect. The barrier can only be opened by a patriarch. How many generations of patriarch is she, and why is she so weak? She called Ye Yun ancestor, and says that she is the 298th Patriarch of the Divine Dragon Sect, Luo Li. Ye Yun looks at Luo Li. She is in the 8th level of Qi gathering. He asked her, how did this world become so weak? She said it is the decline of the Divine Dragon Sect, and now she is the last member of the Divine Dragon Sect. Ye Yun said that the Divine Dragon Sect relied on him back then, and has squeezed into the super-eternal level sects of the great sects. He looks at Luo Li and said unexpectedly, it has fallen to this point now, so fallen that a little brat of 8th level of Qi gathering is the Patriarch. Luo Li makes a grinning face after hearing him. She asks Ye Yun that, don't he know that after him, the Divine Dragon Sect has never produced a Patriarch who can have 1/10 of his ability, and the 250th Patriarch, after causing great trouble, passed away, leaving the Divine Dragon Sect under siege for hundreds of years. Until now, few people in the lower-ranking sects know their sect. Ye Yun said, so that's it. He said that if it's this much, it's okay. He said that he reached the Eternal Realm at the age of 24 and stood at the pinnacle of the Kangnan continent. As a result, he entered a mysterious space to practice. It has been 100,000 years. He looks at Luo Li with glowing eyes and said that now he have successfully broken through the realm of true gods. Now the Divine Dragon Sect will naturally become the strongest sect. Luo Li was shocked. She asked him, true god realm, is it that the true god realm beyond the 10 realms cultivated in Kangnan continent? Ye Yun said, yeah, that's right. Again, Luo Li asked, is it that true god realm that no one has ever set foot for millions of years? Ye Yun said, you're right. Luo Li was too excited. Ask him, is it that true god realm that only exists in legends, illusory and in novel, but no dare to reach it? And Ye Yun said, right. She again ties to ask him, but Ye Yun flecked her on the forehead and said to her that now the ancestor will help her to improve her ability. She grabbed her head and said to Ye Yun that the Patriarch is so kind. He summed a bottle of pill in his hands and said that this is a bottle of god-level cleansing pill. He told Luo Li to first refine her aptitude. Luo Li grabbed that bottle of pill and asked Ye Yun that there is mortal, yellow, spirit, Zhuan, earth, heaven, king, royal, emperor, and god level. Is that pill a god level? She took out one pill. Those pills were releasing lots of spiritual energy. Luo Li was amazed to see them. She said that just this one will make all sects ancestors of the Kangnan continent to fight and snatch it. Ye Yun told her that there are 10,000 pills in there. When Luo Li had 10,000 pills, she was too shocked. Ye Yun grabbed many of those pills in his hands and told Luo Li to eat those as a snack from now on, as all these things in the warehouse can be piled up into mountains. Luo Li asked him to wait, but Ye Yun grabbed her mouth and feed her all those pills. Too much spiritual energy was started gathering in her body. She cried a little, and impurities which was in her body started coming out. She said to Ye Yun that, "Ancestor, such a good thing is wasted." Ye Yun closed his nose. He said, "It stinks. The effect of the marrow washing is coming out." Ye Yun thought that the effect is taking too fast. He said, "It seems there is no other way." He raised his hands, and suddenly a bath appeared there. He told Luo Li, "Go and wash it now." In that bath, the water was red. Luo Li was surprised to see it. She asked him, "What is this again?" "Of course it's the place to take a bath." He told her to hurry up and wash. She have become black mud. Ye Yun grabbed Luo Li's shoulder, and while throwing her into he told her that she haven't inherited even 1% of their divine dragon sect's divine dragon bloodline, so too much dirt comes out after marrow washing. She fell into the water, and after few seconds she comes out and said to Patriarch that something seems to be wrong with her body. She break through the 9th, 10th level of Qi gathering, then break through the 1st, 2nd, 3rd level of profound break. Ye Yun told her to don't panic. She is soaking in the blood of ancestral dragon, which is 100 times higher than her divine dragon bloodline. This is what the old ancestor have accumulated over the past 100,000 years. But because there is too much, he made a bath for bathing. When Luo Li heard that she stand up for bathing, she said, "How can she take a bath with ancestral dragon essence blood?" Her clothes were melting slowly, and she break through the 4th level of profound realm, then break through the 5th level of Yuanhai realm, and then stopped. Luo Li noticed it. She said, "Ye Yun, that her cultivation, it seems she have reached the 10th level of the Yuanhai realm." Ye Yun turned around, and while thinking he asked her, "Yuanhai realm, what realm is it?" Luo Li was surprised to hear him. She asked him, don't he know the Yuanhai realm? He said he haven't touched these low-level realms for too long, so he forgot about them. Luo Li explained him that Kangnan continent realm level is divided into body refining realm, Qi gathering realm, profound realm, Yuanhai realm, God shaping realm, God bridge realm, Nirvana realm, heavenly life realm, life and death realm, eternal realm, a total of 10 realms. She said, "Of course Master is no longer in these 10 realms, and he also advanced from Qi gathering realm to the Yuanhai realm." Ye Yun said, "Alas, the aptitude is still too bad, and the ancestral dragon's essence and blood have only let her cross the profound realm." Luo Li was little sad. She said, "It's already very powerful, and she have reached the 10th level of the Yuanhai realm, and she will soon reach the God-shaping realm. Don't get excited, I'm just saying." He raised his hands, and while searching in his subspace storage, he said, "There are not many women's clothes. The highest product can only go to the royal level. He decide let her make do with wearing it first." Luo Li was again too surprised to hear royal realm. She said, "That if she were this dress, she will be hunted down by the cultivators of the Kangnan continent for a lifetime." Ye Yun gets serious. His eyes glow like a demon. He told Luo Li to remember that from now on, only she can kill, no one can kill her. Fire appeared on his hand and changed into the shape of a sword. He said that, "This god-level weapon, supreme golden dragon sword, it will be gifted to her for her protection." That sword fly into the sky, and when it comes back, it changed in a shape of a golden dragon. Luo Li looks at it with her sharp eyes, and grabbed it before it hit the ground. It turned into a great sword. Ye Yun told Luo Li that there is a living dragon soul sealed in this sword. In the future, when she walk outside, she can't degrade the name of the divine dragon sect. He turns around and said that he want the divine dragon sect to become the #1 sect. From back, Luo Li called him, and said that he gave her such a high-level magic weapon, but she can't control it. When Ye Yun looks back, he saw that the sword was choking her with spiritual energy. He throws a sword scabbard at that and told her to let this emperor scabbard help her seal this sword. After that, that sword calmed down. Ye Yun helps her seal that sword. He told her that Shu should not draw the sword in the future, use it to knock people. Luo Li was too amazed to see it. Ye Yun felt something. He said somebody is coming. Luo Li said that the people who chased her must be here. Back mountain of divine dragon sect. Some people were standing in front of a gravestone. A guy smiled and said, "That's right, this is the place." A shaped black hair boy asked that the divine dragon sect is left with only one leaky fish. That little girl is only in Qi gathering realm. Is it necessary to let the Yuanhai realm cultivators to go after her? Other one replied him that, regardless of how this girl is in Qi gathering realm, she is the last head of the divine dragon sect. If she is caught, this 100-year-long siege order will also be over. A old guy asked him if he don't know. He said that, although the girl is in Qi gathering realm, but she is vigilant. She has a set of weird physical skills. They had arrested her once, but she escaped. This time, no matter what, they can't let her escape. They notice that someone is coming out. Ye Yun and Luo Li comes out in front of them. All of those guys looks at them. A guy said, "What an amazing sword intent. This Yuanhai realm fairy has such a strong sword intent." When Luo Li heard word fairy, she was happy. She thought, are they talking about her? A guy called Luo Li fairy and asked her if she have seen a little girl with a dark and dirty face passing by here. Luo Li gets angry when she hears that. She slammed her sword on the ground and said, "She is so cute, beautiful girl." How could he describe her as dark? Those guys were just starring her like the We're in Love. Luo Li coughed and told them that this fairy is the one they are looking for. They look at her sword, which was releasing lots of spiritual energy. A guy said no, she is not her. She must be the reinforcements that girl invited. They surround Luo Li. Ye Yun was just standing there. A guy points at him and told everyone to don't be afraid. He said this girl is also in Yuanhai realm, and the one behind doesn't even have a cultivation base. Ye Yun smiled and thought, these minions, they think they can see this ancestor cultivation. A guy looks at Luo Li's clothes and said, "Other to look." He said, "This is a royal level robe." All Luo Li's clothes were surrounded with spiritual energy. That old man told him have you ever seen a royal level rope? Don't talk nonsense. Another guy told them to stop arguing. He said that, after finishing this, they can peel it and take back to check the authenticity. That old man smiled and said, "Big brother is right. This approach is good." Ye Yun said to Luo Li that, "So soon someone wants to hit her clothes?" Luo Li was surprised. She asked Ye Yun if they are all Yuanhai realm. Ye Yun gets angry and said to her that, as the patriarch of the divine dragon sect, such a few thieves can scare her. Does she think the sword he gave her is rusty? At that time, Luo Li remembered what Ye Yun told her before. She said that she can't be looked down by the ancestor. She grabbed her scabbard and turned around and told those guys to listen up. She said she is the 298th patriarch of the divine dragon sect. Luo Li. She runs toward them saying, "From now on only she kill others. No one can kill her again." She attacked them with a fire slice. That fire attack turned into a dragon, and with a lightning shot, every one of them flew away. It started raining. Luo Li falls on the ground. All of those guys died. Ye Yun comes near her while holding an umbrella in his hands. He looks at Luo Li. Luo Li looks at him. She was crying. She said, "Ancestor, I killed them. I killed them all with just one slash." She grabbed Ye Yun's clothes, cred more. She said, "From now on, she will never run away again." Ye Yun puts his hand on her head and told her that, with the ancestor here, there is no need to run away anymore. After hearing him, Ye Yun calmed down a little. When she looks at those crops, she said it's bad. They are all killed by her. There is no way to interrogate the whereabouts of junior brother. Ye Yun said no problem. He have a way. He used his powers on one of those crops and a white soul comes out of it body. Ye Yun refined that soul with his mind's spiritual energy, and he found it. Luo Li asked him, what did he find? He said that this is a secret soul search technique. Originally, it was to pull the soul of the person who had just died, so that he could not enter the reincarnation. He said he just changed a little and used this to search the memory of his soul. He released that soul. He asked Luo Li, "Does she know where 10,000 Ghosts Ridge is?" When Luo Li heard that she gets too scared, she said that, the 10,000 Ghosts Ridge, it is said that there are countless evil spirits living in it, leading directly to 9 hells. There is only one sect called the Bloody Cloth Gate stationed in the periphery of 10,000 Ghosts Ridge. His little brother been captured and sent to the 10,000 Ghost Ridge. At the 10,000 Ghost Ridge, there was a scary board. In front of it was a blood pool. In middle of it was bridge. Some people were walking on it like slaves, and some were monitoring them and beating them. A man was standing on the edge of that bridge. He was too scared, he said he don't want to. But a guy kicked him from behind. That guy fall into that blood pool. Both Ye Yun and Luo Li comes there. Luo Li said that, it seems that this is a sacrificial event once in 100 years and 10,000 ghosts. Ridge light the sky lantern. Ye Yun asked her what kind of activity is that. Luo Li said that, according to legend, evil spirits are imprisoned here. In order to keep their peace, people will send the most sinful people to light the sky lanterns every 100 years. in exchange for 100 years of peace. But she heard that only 100 people are sacrificed. How come there are so many people this time? Ye Yun told her that, how can there be such a statement? Below this is clearly a ghost king, and the blood sacrifice will only speed up the ghost king's awakening. Ye Yun thought that this kind of little ghost king can be wiped out with a wave of his hand. However, Luo Li is now the head of the Divine Dragon Sect and needs to be tempered. He said to Luo Li that her little brother should be caught to light the sky lantern, and this sacrifice must be a living person. So he should still have hope. Luo Li gets happy when she heard that. She asked him, really? Ye Yun said yes. However, she have to find a way to save him later. Luo Li was too shocked after to hear him. He told her that her realm rises too fast and she have too little actual combat experience, so she need more experience. He told her, don't worry, he will take action whenever necessary. She said, she'll do it her way then, but it might make him feel wronged. After some time, Ye Yun was very angry. Both of them were tied with string. Ye Yun asked her, this is her method. She said, Ancestor, don't panic. She is used to get out of this foolishness, and it was very effective. Ye Yun was very disappointed. He felt like dug a hole for himself. Some like later, when both of them were standing on the edge of the bridge. Luo Li looks down into that pool and said, she can't find junior brother. Ye Yun said according to Luo Li, he has been arrested for more than 10 days, and he should have been lighted up somewhere. Suddenly those guards kick both of them into that blood pool. When Ye Yun fall into that pool, I stopped his breathing. He looked at the ground and saw something. He said, it turns out that the Ghost King is below. He broke the threads. He used his spiritual powers and helped it unlock the seal quickly. Luo Li called him and said she found the little brother. Ye Yun looks at a body. Luo Li shouted, brother, are you okay? Wake up. That boy was not opening his eyes. Luo Li cried and said he seems to be dying. When Ye Yun saw that boy, he said, not bad. This kid is lucky. He told that boy to hold out. As long as there is a breath, the ancestor will have a solution. He puts a pill into that boy's mouth and told Luo Li to let's get out of here. Other side of that pool, a guy was doing some kind of ritual. He saw Ye Yun and others leaving that pool. He shouted that some sacrifices came out to alert his other members. Luo Li grabbed his little brother and all three of them comes out of that blood pool. Luo Li's brother asked her, is she here to save him? Those gangsters surround them. Luo Li told his little brother to don't talk and let the ancestor help him heal. She said she'll go and clean up the gang. He was confused when he heard about ancestor. That guy who was doing that ritual ordered those gangsters that the sky lantern has been turned on, so take down sacrifices quickly. Those gangsters were wearing some kind of devil mask. They used a demonic sword formation to attack Luo Li and his brother. Luo Li looks at them, and then she jumped and destroyed their sword formation with her sword. She said, a group of mobs. How dare to use disciple of Divine Dragon Sect to light the sky lantern? Ye Yun was looking at her from behind. He thought that, this girl has quite a patriarchal school of thought. Those gangsters leaders said Divine Dragon Sect. Hasn't it already been exterminated? Luo Li proudly said that she is the 298th patriarch of the Divine Dragon Sect, and she is here today to take revenge. Gangster leader said, oh, it turned out to be the fish that slipped through the net. He said he will just sacrifice her and receive the reward. When Ye Yun heard about the reward, he realized that someone behind the scenes is deliberately manipulating to kill the Divine Dragon Sect. He thought that it's time to turn the place upside down. In that case, he will help them to unlock the seal quickly. He released some spiritual energy from his hands. That energy going into that blood pool and merged with that Ghost King's body. That gangster leader saw that the blood sacrifice is responding. Ye Yun told Luo Li to catch the leader so they can ask him who is behind the scene. Luo Li said yes, ancestor, and jumped at him with her sword. Leader, after seeing Luo Li, who is just a Yuanhai realm, he said that she is no match to him because he is a god-shaping realm. Luo Li told him to then take her strike. Leader jumped and dodged her attack. He saw that her strike was too strong. Then he saw her sword. His eyes were glowing. He said that this sword turned out to be an artifact. Leader thought that Luo Li can't handle the sword. That's why she's using a normal slash. He smiles and thought, this sword is simply made for him. He called Luo Li child and said that it's shame to use the magic weapon in her hand. Let the uncle teach her. Luo Li said, this is her sword, and she can do what she want, so who is he to teach her? He jumped at Luo Li saying, it's mine now. He caught Luo Li's shoulder. But when he tries to use force, he gets an electric shock. He was shocked that even he can't grasp this dress. Luo Li struck his mouth with her sword. Leader flew away from Luo Li. He thought, how the clothes are this powerful? Luo Li said, so what if he is God-shaping realm? She defeated him only in 2 hits. Leader stand up saying he didn't thought to become like this. He smiles and said that the sacrifice has been completed and the Ghost King is about to be born. No matter how many artifacts she have, she will not be able to escape here. He stand up and run towards that blood pool. He said that, although it is a bit urgent, there 15 no other way. After all, only one of his elders is left here. He shouted, listen to your servant's call, Lord Ghost King, Ye Yun said. So the sacrifice is not to keep the peace, but to wake up the Ghost King. Bubbles started coming out of that pool, and all those sacrificed people's soul get pulled out and gathered into the sky, then fall into that blood pool, directly to the Ghost King's tomb. A loud voice comes, who? Wake me up. Gangster leader was very happy. He said that, Lord Ghost King is finally awake. And finally the Ghost King comes out of that blood pool. He was too big. Ye Yun said, surprisingly, it even took on a human form. Ghost King looks at that gangster leader and asks him, did he wake him up? Leader was scared. He said, Lord, it's what the little does. Ghost King smiles and said, in that case, he'll be a good guy to the end. The deity has slept for thousands of years and just lacks nutrients. Your spiritual power is not much, but it's better than the other tributes in the pool. He raised his hand to grab the leader, saying, he'll be polite. Ghost King grabbed him and eat his head. Luo Li said to Ye Yun that the leader was eaten as a tribute. Ye Yun told her to be careful. She is about to be eaten next. Luo Li said no way, she don't want to, she don't. That Ghost King said that the appetizers are over. Now it's time for dinner. Everyone started running away from him. Ghost King told them to, don't even bother. No one can escape under the deity. Everyone gets sucked into a black hole made by Ghost King. He said none of them is going to run. Luo Li fly towards the Ghost King. She said to Ghost King that he is the old demon who wants to eat her little brother. She started fighting with him. Ye Yun asked Luo Li's brother that, when has this little girl become so brave, even dares to rush the Ghost King? He asked Ye Yun is his sister rushed up. Ye Yun told him that the golden light is his senior sister Luo Li. She went up to fight with the Ghost King. In just a few days, the little girl has become more and more courageous. Luo Li's brother was too shocked and scared for her sister. He asked Ye Yun to hurry up and save his senior sister, otherwise she will be eaten. Ye Yun asked him do he want to save his sister. That boy without thinking anything said yes. On the other side, Luo Li flew away from that black hole. She hits the wall. She was quite injured, but she was going to attack it again. She jumped from that wall and attacked that Ghost King from behind. When Ghost King saw her, he was annoyed. He called her little brat and said to that, she always poking a stick in a bucket of something, when he can't be bothered to eat her. Luo Li was angry. She said to him that he is the stick, and his whole family is the stick. When Ghost King saw that Luo Li's sword was releasing lots of spiritual energy, he said that, it's really not a stick, this is a good thing, it's really rare in the mortal world. He tried to snack it for her, asking her to give that to him. But Luo Li grabbed her sword tightly. She said no to him, it's her sword. She even used her legs to break free her sword. And accidentally she unleashed her sword. A big dragon comes out of her sword to attack the Ghost King. Ghost King smiles. He said, it's really an artifact, and there is dragon soul in it. He said that, God helps him. With this golden dragon, he can step into heavenly realm, or he can step into the life and death realm. Ghost King captured that dragon's soul with his powers. Luo Li could not do anything. She cried and said that, it's over. The golden dragon in the sword is trapped. She called her ancestor, save her. Ghost King said that, surprisingly, this sword has been recognized by this little kid. He told Luo Li to wait for him until he subdue this golden dragon, then he will eat her too. Luo Li was very sad. She seats on the ground while crying for her sword. Suddenly something comes flying from her back and goes towards the Ghost King. Luo Li thought that it's her ancestor Ye Yun, but she realized that she is wrong. It's not her ancestor, it's her little brother. He told Luo Li to don't be afraid. He said he'll help her. He fly towards the Ghost King to attack. When Ghost King saw him, he said, why today children are coming to fight him? He used a shield stop Luo Li's brother attack. He said to Ghost King that he dare to rob the treasures of his divine dragon sect's patriarch. See how he will clean him up. When Ghost King had him, he said, it turned out to be the divine dragon sect. Didn't expect that after so many years, the patriarch has fallen into the hands of a female doll. He said it seems that divine dragon sect has no successor. Luo Li's brother used his new sword to break Ghost King's shield. Ghost King barely saved himself from that attack. Ghost King realized that this sword is also a treasure. Ghost King said to him that since he is willing to offer treasures to celebrate the birth of this deity, then this deity will not be polite. He opens his mouth and attack him with some kind of spiritual smoke. There was that smoke everywhere. Luo Li's brother that amazed to see that strong ghostly aura. In the middle of that smoke attack, Ghost King goes behind his back and attached him, but he saw Ghost King's attack and tried to defend that attack with his sword. But that attack was too powerful. He flew away from the Ghost King. He saw somewhat injured. Suddenly he heard a voice. 2 milquetoast children directly into his brain. Ghost King tries to smash him with his hand. When Luo Li saw that, she was about to go there to save him, but suddenly she also heard a voice saying, "Disciple, don't panic. I will be temporarily attached a wisp of the soul to you. You quickly go to subdue the golden dragon, save your brother." Luo Li know that it's her ancestor. Ghost King was about to smash him, he said, "Dare to fight against the deity." Ghost King's fingers were about to kill him. Ghost King smashed his hand on the ground, but when he checked it there was nothing in his hands. It was Luo Li who saved her brother. She told him to don't speak, because Ghost King was about to attack. Ghost King said, "In the realm of the deity, even 1,000 armies it's hard to escape." Suddenly 2 Ghost King appear and collide their hands, and make a force field to attach them. Luo Li and her brother fly into the sky. Luo Li called her sword soul the dragon. Ghost King saw her. He also collect his spiritual energy and make a demonic orb in his hands. Luo Li raised her sword and told Ghost King to look at the power of the golden dragon sword. The dragon attacked Ghost King. Ghost King also attacked her with his demonic orb. Both of their attack collide. Ghost King was powerful. His demonic orb break Luo Li's attack and goes towards her. Luo Li was little scared about her little brother. Her brother jumped between it to save Luo Li, but suddenly a different power comes from the ground and submerged into the Ghost King's demonic orb and destroyed the demonic orb. "Ghost King hand cut off!" Ghost King shouted. "Who did that?" "That was Ye Yun." His eyes were glowing red like devils. He said, "It's been so hard, practicing with his disciple for so long." Luo Li and her brother comes back into the ground. They looks at their ancestor Ye Yun. Ye Yun said to them, "Not bad, facing the Ghost King who is a few realms above them. It's not bad to be able to do this." When Ghost King saw him, he thought, was he the one who crushed his ghost energy with a tiny glow just now? Ghost King's senses were telling him that it's bad. This person does not seem to have a realm, but he is definitely an expert. Ghost King have to flee from here quickly. He fly towards sky. Luo Li's brother said to Ancestor that Ghost King is running away. Ye Yun smiled, he said, "No one can escape in front of this Ancestor." He raised his hand and used his spiritual power, and a big hand made of spiritual energy appeared in front of the Ghost King. It grabbed him. Ghost King was trembling. He said to Ye Yun, "My lord, forgive me. The young one has just been born. If he offend the Lord, please forgive him." Ye Yun told Ghost King that originally, his birth had nothing to do with him, but the sky lantern actually lit the head of his divine dragon sect disciple, causing you to die 10,000 times. Ye Yun closed his fist. Ghost King's screams and turned into dust. Luo Li was surprised that Ghost King is finished. She said that the Ancestor is so powerful, he killed the Ghost King killed with one move. Luo Li's brother thanked Ye Yun for giving him a treasure. Ye Yun told him that the natural talent in him isn't bad, and it didn't cost him a hard time. When Luo Li had that Ye Yun give treasure to him, she said, "No wonder he dared to fight the Ghost King just now. It seems that the injury of lighting the sky lantern is completely healed." Her brother said that he just washed his marrow with the blood of the ancestral dragon by Ancestor, not only completely healed, even he reached the 4th level of the God-shaping realm. Luo Li was disappointed when she heard that he have reached 4th level of God-shaping realm. She said she have only reached the 10th level of the Yuanhai realm and haven't broken through the God-shaping realm. Her brother said that, not only that, the Ancestor also gave him the royal level vestments and emperor level Hunyuan promise sword. Luo Li turned around and said that her sword is God level, better than his. He said, "Sister, you are the patriarch of their divine dragon sect. Naturally, she can't lose face. It's just that this sword is too high in rank, but he can't use 1/10,000th of its power." Ye Yun said that Luo Li's brother Jun Moxiao natural talent is good. He can reach the 4th level of the God-shaping realm by washing the marrow alone. Luo Li have to work harder. As for the sword, because of the previous lesson of Luo Li, so before gifting it to him, the sword was sealed. It will gradually unblock with his realm, which also avoids being bitten by it. Jun Moxiao said, "Okay, ancestor." Ye Yun said that, "This is done. Jun Moxiao has been found, and now it's just their big sister who is left." Jun Moxiao said that the elder sister Su Wanyi was the first to divert the enemy to save them, and she was nowhere to be seen. However, he thinks someone deliberately targeted their Divine Dragon Sect. Ye Yun asked Jun Moxiao if he is aware of something. Jun Moxiao said that ever since he was arrested, every time he was sent away, they would deliberately mention that he was a disciple of Divine Dragon Sect. Then he was separated, so he suspected that there must be someone behind the scenes. Suddenly he remembered something. He said that he was taken to the blood-clothed door to meet a mysterious person before he came for Sky Lantern. Ye Yun asked him who was that person. Jun Moxiao said that the whole time he was hooded, but he saw the man's robe through the slit. There was the logo of the Izumo Sword Sect on it. Ye Yun get angry when he heard Izumo Sword Sect. Luo Li said that the Izumo Sword Sect is one of the 10 major forces of the Gaiyu dynasty. It is located in the west of Izumo Mountain, thousands of miles away. They came here to persecute them. Ye Yun raised his hands and said, "Now that they have a direction, then let's go now and settle the score with the Izumo Sword Sect." He summoned something. It was a god-level demonic beast. That demonic beast called Yi Yun Master and asked him, "Where are they going?" Luo Li's and Jun Moxiao's mouths were wide open when they heard the demonic beast spoke. That demonic beast told them that they have not fully seen the world. Ye Yun told that demonic beast to be more ordinary. He said to him that he is not here to scare others. That demonic beast's horn, angle, scales disappears, and it turns into an ordinary black horse. That horse runs. He told Ye Yun to don't panic. He said he is just playing, he have to build momentum. Oregon, if someone rides on him, head and bullies him, wouldn't lose the horse. Both Luo Li and Jun Moxiao apologies from it. Ye Yun told them, "Hurry up and get going. Their Divine Dragon Sect leader's elder sister has not been found yet." After some time, 2 people were standing in front of that blood pool. Red-haired boy said that, "This should be the birth of the Ghost King." Black-haired boy said something is wrong. He said that, "The Ghost King is born, but it shouldn't be the Ghost King doing all this." He put his hand into that blood pool. He said that, "Their blood-cloaked door has a secret technique that can subdue the Ghost King. This should be done by another expert appearing." Red-haired boy asked him, "Do he mean someone killed the Ghost King and even their blood-clothes people in an instant?" Black-haired boy said yes, but there shouldn't be such a character in the Gaiyu dynasty. What happened here? They should report back to the Sect Master. All 3 of them were riding a wagon which was going into Izumo Sword Sect direction. Inside the wagon, Ye Yun was drinking tea. Luo Li asked him that, "Do he mean to recruit disciples?" Ye Yun replied her that it is not the time yet, and the development of any sect is inseparable from spiritual resources. There is also that their realm is too low, who would want to come to a sect whose patriarch has not yet reached the realm of shaping the gods. Luo Li said that he asked her if he have thought about the future development of the Divine Dragon Sect. She've only met him for a few days, and even the Ghost King was defeated only because of him. Ye Yun told her that if she start accumulating resources for cultivation, now she won't have to worry about anything when the Divine Dragon Sect opens the gate one day. Luo Li asked him if he is saying that they should grab resources on the way when they fight. She was too loud. Jun Moxiao, who was driving the wagon, also heard her. He comes inside and asks Luo Li that, do they, the heirs of the Divine Dragon Sect, have to rob others of their resources? Luo Li hit him on head and said, "Why not grab it? The cultivation world contains weak and strong. How many people have coveted her divine weapon along the way? Don't he know?" She said Ancestor is right. If their Divine Dragon Sect wants to grow and develop, they naturally need as many resources as possible. She don't blame him for not understanding. After all, this is something the Patriarch should consider. Jun Moxiao's eyes glow. He said to her that he understand. From now on they have to burn, kill, and loot, and it's not a evil work. Luo Li shouted at him. She told him that they are just collecting loot. Look at the history of these dynasties in the Kangyan continent. The defeated one loses his city and land. She told him that their ancestor has reached the true God realm, and he will definitely not stay in the Kangyan continent for long. Them sisters and brothers now have to hold up the flag of their Divine Dragon Sect, and don't always rely on the ancestor. Jun Moxiao, ask Ye Yun really ancestor. Ye Yun said he just mentioned little, Luo Li responded. With her as the patriarch, the future of his absence will be relieved. He gave them 2 small pocket bags. He told them that this is a God-level universe bag, which has been concealed by him. The space inside is very large, so they will try to fill them with materials in the future. Both Luo Li and Jun Moxiao was very happy after those bags. When Luo Li get her bag, she checked inside the bag. She was surprised. She asked, "How big is this? And fill this up. When will that be?" Luo Li was standing in a space as big as Earth. Ye Yun told them that the path of cultivation is never-ending, so practice hard. The future Divine Dragon Sect is not just standing in the Kangnan continent. Luo Li asked him, does he mean there are other continents? Ye Yun said yes. The Kangnan continent is just a water chestnut in this world, at most a well. Luo Li was amazed to hear that she said that, in other words, when she conquer the world in the future, she will be the patriarch of the super-large sect. Ye Yun flick on her head. He asked her, what is she thinking? Let him stay in this ancient moon dynasty first and have a good experience. When she break through the eternal realm, he will consider going outside. She must break through to shaping the gods' realm before they reach the Izumo sword sect. Luo Li salute him saying, got it, ancestor. In Izumo sword sect, Li Qingshan, patriarch of Izumo sword sect, was seating. Suddenly a man comes and report him that the patriarch of the Divine Dragon Sect asked to see the sect leader outside the mountain gate. Divine Dragon Sect, Li Qing said. He have never heard of this sect. He guessed they want to cling to their Izumo sword sect. He told that man to just go and tell them that he is not here. That man told Li Qing that the 2 of them are teenagers, but their realm has reached the realm of shaping the gods. He was surprised. He asked that man did he look carefully. That man said he can't be wrong. Not only are they young, even dressed are some immortal magic. Li Qing told that man to take him to see them. Outside of the Izumo sword sect, 3 of them were waiting of their reply. Luo Li asked Jun Moxiao, is he confident? This time the ancestor let the 2 of them pick out the Izumo sword sect. Jun Moxiao said to her that she is patriarch of the Divine Dragon Sect. Just say what she want to do. Jun Moxiao was thinking that they should take all the babies, grab all the resources. Luo Li smiles and thanked him for the cheer. Jun Moxiao saw Li Qing coming. Li Qing said he is Li Qingshan, sect leader of Izumo sword sect. He asked them where they are from. Luo Li said she is Luo Li, the 298th patriarch of the Divine Dragon Sect, and this is her brother Jun Moxiao. Li Qing thought that this young girl should have just reached the god-shaping realm. Not long ago, her brother has reached the 4th level of the god-shaping realm. Both so young, there is no such genius in the Gu Yue dynasty. In the carriage behind him, could it be that their elders sitting inside it? But the divine sense swept past, and there seemed to be no one. Li Qing said to them that he don't know what they want to do in his Izumo sword sect. Luo Li said to him that, a month ago, someone from his sect took her brother to the 10,000 Ghosts Ridge, and he was lit up by the Bloodcloth sect. Ye Yun was drinking tea inside that wagon. He thought that Luo Li's sect master model is pretty good now. Talk is not so cowering, not bad. Li Qing said that, did little patriarch Luo Li misunderstand? He think her junior has also reached the 4th level of god-shaping realm, and his entire body is covered with treasures and swords. Their Izumo sword sect is also barely able to catch up with the elders, who can have such a great ability to catch her junior. Jun Moxiao was angry. He said, is that so? Then let him go into the sword sect to find it. Li Qing thought, could it be that the elders really did it? Looking at these 2 popular factions, it must be a disciple of the great school of immortals, cannot afford to offend. He said this must be a misunderstanding. Several elders are in the sect. If you don't believe, the 2 of them can go with the sect and turn everyone into. While he was talking, someone shouted bastard loudly for the sky. A blue lightning shot on the ground and a man appeared. He asked, where is this little kid from? How dare he make trouble in his Izumo sword sect? Li Qing greets the Supreme Elder. Some other elders also come and surrounded Luo Li and Jun Moxiao. Li Qing was surprised that even a few elders are here. Supreme Elder said to Li Qing that he is the patriarch. People are stepping on his face, and he is still smiling. Li Qing was hesitating to say anything. That Supreme Elder asked other elders, what are they waiting for? He ordered them to kill them. When Ye Yun heard them, he thought it seems that this should be done by the Supreme Elder, but their sect leader is not aware of it. Ye Yun thought that their Supreme Elder is 8th level of God-shaping realm, just enough for the Luo Li and Jun Moxiao to practice their hands. Those elders surround them. Luo Li asked Jun Moxiao, is that him, the one who kidnapped him? Jun Moxiao told her that his sound is somewhat similar. Jun Moxiao pulled out his sword and said to Supreme Elder that he have to ask for specifics. Li Qing was trying to stop them, but all the elders attacked them. Luo Li summoned her sword and said, "Along the way, Ancestor have taught them divine dragon sword technique, and it is time to test the results." Both Luo Li and Jun Moxiao were ready to fight with them. Luo Li used fire, and Jun Moxiao used thunder to attack those elders. Luo Li's fire dragon attacked an elder. He tried to defend, but that attack was too powerful for him. He flew away and fall at the Supreme Elder's feet. Supreme Elder said, "A bunch of trash." He jumped at Luo Li, saying, "Even can't stop a little doll's move." He attacked Luo Li with a powerful spiritual move. Jun Moxiao told Luo Li to be careful. There was thunderbolt everywhere. But Luo Li stops the Supreme Elder's attack. Supreme Elder was using more power, but he can't do anything to Luo Li. When he saw Luo Li's sword, he said he was wondering how a girl who just entered the God-shaping realm could defeat an elder of the first complete level of the God-shaping realm with a single move. But it turns out that she have a divine weapon. Luo Li said to him that he job blaming the weapon because can't beat her. A group of elders beating up a little girl, and he have the guts to say that. A dignified clan who can't even come up with a decent weapon, so he's embarrassed to mock others. When Li Qing was watching them fight, he thought, "What's the matter with the elder Tai Shang?" When he came up, he wanted to kill the two of them. Could it be that girl is right? Is it really their Izumo sword sect who offended them? Li Qing thought that, although it is said that Izumo sword sect barely entered the top 10 in the ancient Yue dynasty, but only two 17 or 18 young girls dare to choose the mountain gate alone, where did they rely on? Not with that artifact. He looks at the wagon and thought, unless there is their master. Supreme Elder can't get it to work here, so he fly towards sky saying, "Let's change the place." Luo Li followed him. Jun Moxiao also goes with her. When they goes after Supreme Elder Li Qing and other elders don't know what to do. They goes after the carriage in which Ye Yun was seating. They tried to destroy it, so Luo Li don't have a way out. Li Qing tried to stop them. Ye Yun felt what they were going to do. He said that they dare to destroy in the deity's presence. They really don't know how to live or die. He told his horse to don't let them bother him. That horse raised his legs, saying, "Master, don't worry." Horse destroyed that whole ground, and those elders all died in that attack. Ye Yun make a spiritual orb in his hands and attacked the Izumo sword sect with it. That spiritual orb destroyed all the buildings of Izumo sword sect. Li Qing was too shocked to see it. Supreme Elder, who was fighting with Luo Li, saw a huge blast on ground. He realized that, in that directions his sword sects is located, he run towards there. When Luo Li and Jun Moxiao sees him running, they also goes after him. Supreme Elder saw that the place where his Izumo sword sect was before, now has turned into ruins. He was Li Qing. He goes there and asks him what's happening here. What's going on? Li Qing was crying. He said his Izumo sword sect is gone. Supreme Elder looks at the Ye Yun's carriage and said, "It turns out that their master is in the carriage." He fly towards the carriage saying, "Dare to destroy his sect. Even if the old man dies, he will kill them." He used his full power to attack, but he can't reach the carriage because of the shield. He fall back. Ye Yun smile. Supreme Elder was surprised. He thought, that blow didn't even pierce the outer shield. It seems that the realm of the person inside is far beyond his, and it is impossible to leave alive. He looks at the sky and thought that, could it really be that God wants to destroy his Izumo sword sect? He released lots of spiritual energy from his eyes and whole body. He said, since they're all going to die, then he'll bring a few funerals with him. Thunder started falling around him. He shouted and make a huge spiritual energy bowl around himself. Luo Li knows what he was doing. She told Jun Moxiao that Supreme Elder is going to blow himself up. Suddenly spiritual hand appear in front of Supreme Elder. Luo Li was happy after seeing it. She said, it's the old ancestor. The old ancestor shot. That spiritual hand grabbed Supreme Elder. Ye Yun comes out of the carriage and told Supreme Elder that he could not do anything in his watch. He closed his hand, and that spiritual hand also killed the Supreme Elder. Supreme Elder's soul tried to fly into the sky, but Ye Yun noticed it and grabbed it with his hands. Luo Li and Jun Moxiao comes down. Jun Moxiao asked Ye Yun, what is this? Didn't Supreme Elder blow himself up? Ye Yun told him that this old guy deliberately made a big move to explode his soul. As a result, a trace of primordial spirit was secretly separated, and he wanted to take advantage of the chaos to slip away. Jun Moxiao said that, it's a pity, they couldn't ask why they wanted to attack their divine dragon sect. Luo Li told Jun Moxiao that he don't have to worry, The ancestor can know the answer without asking them at all. Jun Moxiao asked her really. Ye Yun used his soul search technique on the Supreme Elder's soul. His soul was screaming. Jun Moxiao was amazed to see that. Li Qing was in room great of a shock. Ye Yun goes to him. Li Qing looks at him. Ye Yun asked him that, Sword God Sect, is there a character called Old Sword Saint? Li Qing was surprised to hear that name. Luo Li put her sword on Li Qing's neck and told him to answer what her ancestor asked. Li Qing told them that Sword God Sect is the first sect of Gu Yue dynasty. There is indeed an old sword saint that no one can match, and it is also because of him that Sword God Sect can firmly occupy the first sect. However, 100 years ago, the old swordsman suddenly retreated and began to attack the Bridge of God, and he never appeared again after that. Ye Yun thought that this is also not right, if the Sword God Sect is behind the scenes. But this is only 100 years old, and the Divine Dragon Sect has been hunted down for nearly 50 generations. Izumo Sword Sect listened to the orders of the Sword God Sect, who is the person behind the Sword God Sect. Jun Moxiao asked Ye Yun if his senior sister in the Sword God Sect. Ye Yun said no. He said he searched from the primordial spirit, and found that the Supreme Elder just followed the instructions of the Sword God Sect Old Sword Saint before retreating, so he has been chasing and killing the Divine Dragon Sect behind his back for over 100 years. Unfortunately, there is no information about his sister. Luo Li gets angry after hearing him. She said to Li Qing that, sure enough, it was his little brother who was caught by his Izumo Sword Sect. Li Qing was too scared. Ye Yun told Luo Li that he, the suzerain, didn't know about it, and it was the Supreme Elder who led the elders and disciples to do it. Luo Li asked Ye Yun that, what are they going to do to Li Qing? Ye Yun turned around and said to Luo Li that she is the suzerain of the Divine Dragon Sect. She can handle this kind of thing herself. Luo Li was confused. Li Qing was scared. Luo Li looks at him. She said to him that he is lucky. This sect master is in a good mood today. Li Qing was revealed to hear that, she said. But Li Qing again gets scared. Luo Li asked him that. The Izumo Sword Sect is already gone. How about using the treasures of his sect to buy his life? Jun Moxiao eyes glow, he said. That's right. Take it all. The treasures. All resources. Li Qing hesitated and said that his sect has been destroyed. To say there is only the treasures of heaven and earth on various mountain ranges are left. He pulled out a spiritual space bag and said that this is his Qiankun bag, she can take it. Luo Li grabbed his bag and said that, since he is sincere, she'll let him go this time. She told him to go and bring letter to Sword God Sect. She said, let the old swordsmen wait. They will go to them sooner or later to settle accounts. When they were leaving, Jun Moxiao asked Luo Li, why did she let Li Qing go? Luo Li told him that for the sake of his honesty, it would be a good thing to let Li Qing go. Jun Moxiao asked her what good thing. Luo Li told him that, since the ancestor could leave Liu Qingshan's life when he unleashed his divine power, it was naturally meaningful. She looks at Ye Yun, who was drinking tea, and said that their Divine Dragon Sect is now considered the last stream. If they want to revive the sect, they need to be famous first. So when they open the mountain gate in the future, everyone will know who they are. Jun Moxiao said he get it. In order to prevent the destruction of Izumo Sword Sect from becoming a mystery, she deliberately left his life. He said, senior sister is amazing. She is becoming more like a sect master now. Luo Li was proud of herself. She said, of course she is the best. Ye Yun said, yes, that's what he meant. It's a pity that apart from finding out the Sword God Sect, they still has no news of their senior sister. Luo Li said that since Izumo Sword Sect is the instigator of Sword God Sect, and senior sister is separated from Gu Yue dynasty, that senior sister's news should be found in Sword God Sect. After all, Sword God Sect is already the first sect of Gu Yue dynasty. Ye Yun told her that they can't be in a hurry on this trip to the Sword God Sect. On the way, the two of them need to hone more to consolidate their realm. Ye Yun put his finger on Luo Li's head and released some blue spiritual energy. Luo Li asked him, what is he doing? She said her realm has returned to the Yuan Hai realm. The Taishang Golden Dragon Sword has also changed from a god level to an earth level. Jun Moxiao was also crying because his and his sword's level also decreased. Ye Yun told them that a true kendo genius should not rely on foreign objects. In order to become a peerless sword cultivator in the Kanglan continent, they need to temper their sword heart as much as possible. He told them that their realm was raised by resources, and the foundation is vain. Before they face the Sword God Sect, the two of them will break through this realm again, which will be of great benefit to them. Under this kind of cultivation base being forcibly compressed, each small level they raise in Yuanhai realm is equivalent to raising a stage in the same God-shaping realm. Both of them said yes, ancestor. They gets to a new city. Inside a inn, all three of them were eating on a table. On a other table, a pink hair girl was looking at them. She said, "The little brother sitting over there is a little interesting. She is Acacia Sect Saintess, Zhou Mengying, for Jun Moxiao." She said that, at his age, he has already reached the Yuanhai realm, which is just right for a slave family's mining and repairing furnace cauldron. For Ye Yun, she said that, the other one, is a little more handsome, but unfortunately, he has no realm. A man was standing beside her. He told her that, if the lady likes it, this old man will call someone over for the lady. She stand up and said no to him. She said she'll go by herself this time. On the other hand, Ye Yun and others were enjoying their food. Jun Moxiao asked his ancestor, why did he order so many food? Ye Yun told him that he has not eaten for 100,000 years. Although he is okay without food, but he couldn't help but want to taste it during his time in the world. Jun Moxiao picked up his chopsticks and said that he'll stick to the light of his ancestor, Zhou Mengying. Put her hand on Jun Moxiao's shoulder and asked him why is little brother eating alone, isn't he lonely? She asked him, do he want the slave family to accompany him to eat? Jun Moxiao was embarrassed. He asked her, who is she? He said he is not alone. She pushed the table where Luo Li was seating, then she pushed the Ye Yun's table. Both of them were confused. When Jun Moxiao saw it, he saw scared he stand up shouting, ancestor. Zhou Mengying sat on Jun Moxiao's lap and asked him, what ancestor? Is he afraid that his sister will eat him? She comes closer to his face and said that, the little brother is very cute, the elder sister likes it very much. Luo Li was confused. She asked Ye Yun what's happening here. Ye Yun told her that, it seems someone has taken a fancy to her little junior brother. Zhou Mengying said, she is the slave family, Zhou Mengying, the saint of the Acacia Sect. She asked Jun Moxiao that, should the little brother become a Taoist companion with the slave family? Ye Yun told Luo Li that her little brother is about to be eaten. Why don't she go and help him? Luo Li was very angry. She said, why help? She enjoy watching him. Ye Yun told her to wait for her junior brother to be eaten. He don't think Jun Moxiao can handle this situation. Zhou Mengying softly touched Jun Moxiao's lips and asked him what wrong. She told him, don't be afraid. Jun Moxiao asked his senior sister for help. Luo Li put her sword on Zhou Mengying chicks and called her shameless. She asked him who is she hooking up with. Jun Moxiao gets behind Luo Li. Zhou Mengying asked Luo Li, who is she, a stinky little girl, on the first stage of Yuanhai realm. She asked Luo Li, why? Is she going to steal a man from her sister too? Luo Li gets angry. She pulled her sword at Zhou Mengying and said, she is the 298th sect master of the Divine Dragon Sect. She is really bold. Looking for furnace, dare to find the disciple of her Divine Dragon Sect. Zhou Mengying said, Divine Dragon Sect. What sect is that? She don't think she've heard of it before. This is no wonder after all. The sect master is a yellow-haired girl. The man who was with Zhou Mengying told her that there were rumors a few days ago. It seems that Izumo Sword Sect was destroyed by a sect called Divine Dragon Sect. A different man entered that inn, he said. How come the saintess of the Acacia Sect were pointed at by a little girl with a sword? He is Bloodclothes. Sect Deputy Sect Master 1, Bai Yufeng, with his underlings. When Zhou Mengying looks at him, she said, it turns out to be the Vice Suzerain of Bloodclothes Sect. Bai Yufeng said, this is the first time he have seen this image of the saint. When he looks at Luo Li, he said, this little girl is quite watery. Zhou Mengying asked Bai Yufeng that, the woman is for him, the man is for her. How about it? Bai Yufeng laughed, he said. He knew it. That she couldn't pass the masculinity test. It really was because of men. She said to him that, he speak like a gentleman. If he don't want it, she can keep it by herself. Bai Yufeng told her to let's make a deal. Luo Li was getting angry hearing them. Suddenly something comes flying out of the inn and hit the wall. It was Bai Yufeng. Luo Li also comes out. She was the one who hit him. She said that, it's enough to rob her junior brother. He even dare have an idea on this sect master of the Divine Dragon Sect. Both Zhou Mengying and the old man with her were scared to see Luo Li. Zhou Mengying thought that she was almost careless, but fortunately, that idiot Bai Yufeng came over. Bai Yufeng stand up and order his man to kill them all. All his man jumped to attack Luo Li. That old man asked Zhou Mengying if they are going. Zhou Mengying said, No need. Let that group of idiots explore the opponent's strength first. She can't figure out how these two people in the LV-14 Yuanhai realm destroyed the Cloud Sword sect. Bai Yufeng's men were about to attack Luo Li, but Jun Moxiao comes from her back and told Luo Li to leave them to him, let him practice and improve his realm. Luo Li gets angry. She said she need to practice too. Jun Moxiao used his lightning sword art to fight them. Bai Yufeng looks at him and throws some metal pins at Jun Moxiao. But Jun Moxiao easily cut them with his sword and attacked Bai Yufeng with his sword. Luo Li said to Jun Moxiao that he is too cunning, thinking of breaking through the seal of the ancestors so quickly. Then Luo Li looks at Zhou Mengying. She attacked her with her sword. Zhou Mengying barely saved herself. Luo Li smiled like a devil and told Zhou Mengying to let's have a game with the two of them. Zhou Mengying runs Bai Yufeng. She said to him that his girl is crazy, let's change, she afraid she'll kill her by mistake. Jun Moxiao and Bai Yufeng were fighting. When they heard her they were confused. For Zhou Mengying back, Luo Li also comes. She was laughing, she to Zhou Mengying to don't run away. She's going to hit her all. Zhou Mengying pushed Bai Yufeng in front of Luo Li. Luo Li smiled. Bai Yufeng was scared, he again flew away and hit the wall. Zhou Mengying grabbed Jun Moxiao's hand with her chest and said to him that Luo Li is so fierce. Jun Moxiao gets embarrassed. He said, "Her, what is she doing?" He told her to let go. He said to her that he is her opponent. She smiles and said, "No," she said she admit defeat. She makes a cute face and said that she won't fight, so if he is willing, just do it. He looks at her, then told her to don't do this. He called his senior sister. Zhou Mengying smiled inside. She thought that this should still be a baby, so cute. Suddenly Luo Li strikes her with back of the sword. Zhou Mengying falls on the ground. Luo Li said, this is the first time she heard someone make such a shameless request. Zhou Mengying stand up. She said to Luo Li that, how dare she hit her in the face. She jumped at Luo Li saying she is going to kill her, but she also flew away and hit the wall. Bai Yufeng was seating beside her. He said he don't understand. How could they, on the 7th stage of LVLH Yuanhai realm, lose to a little girl on the 1st stage of IVLH Yuanhai realm? Moreover, he was beaten violently. He couldn't even fight for one round. Zhou Mengying asked him if he have heard about the recent extermination of Izumo sword sect. Bai Yufeng was shocked. He said, could it be? Zhou Mengying said that she didn't believe it at first. How could it be done by such a small girl? Now she believed it, that rumor was true, but unfortunately they messed up. Luo Li walked towards them. They were scared. Luo Li used her sword and stuck it in Bai Yufeng's stomach. Bai Yufeng died. Luo Li cleaned the blood from her sword and said to his dead body that the blood-clothed sect sacrificed her junior brother before, but luckily she rescued him in time. She said that the people in the blood-clothed sect, she see one kills the other. Luo Li looks at Zhou Mengying and said to her that she now have two choices. One is that Luo Li will destroy her sect for disrespecting their divine dragon sect, and the other is, Zhou Mengying said she choose the second one. Luo Li smiles and said that's good. The second choice is that it depends on her. After all, they have lost so much. Zhou Mengying was confused when she hears that they lost. Luo Li pulled Jun Moxiao near her and told Zhou Mengying to look at what she did to her junior brother. She said, such a pure and innocent young man who is not deeply involved in the world, but because of her, he is afraid of women now. In the future, he may never dare to deal with women in his life. Luo Li said to her that maybe he won't even be able to get a wife in the future. He will be a bachelor all his life. But he is the junior brother of the sect master of Divine Dragon Sect, and he will inherit the position of sect master in the future. Jun Moxiao was had to hear that he will be a bachelor. Everyone was confused. Zhou Mengying pulled out her spiritual bag and told Luo Li. Sorry, she said. She knows she was wrong. She offers her to take that bag as compensation. Luo Li grabbed her bag and said that she'll reluctantly accept this. Luo Li checked that bag. She said there is spirit level, Xuan level. How come there is not even an emperor level? While crying, Zhou Mengying said that in the entire Kangyan continent, the emperor level and above only exist in legends, let alone see. No one has ever heard of it. Luo Li said, it can't be helped then. If she is still unconvinced, just ask someone to come, in Sword God Sect. Many people are gathered in a place. They congratulate the old swordsman to get out of the customs. A middle-aged man walked toward them. He, the Sword God Sect master. He said, there are things he have heard, so he got out early. Li Qing was also there. He asked him to tell him exactly what happened. Inside the Sword God Sect palace, Swordmaster told him that If it is true as he said, there are few such young people in the entire Kangnan continent. He said that the Divine Dragon Sect has long since broken its inheritance, and this new sect master is 80% impersonating. Other people were talking that they suspect it may be a disciple from another continent or some immortal sect who came here to experience. Swordmaster said, however, as the first sect of the Gu Yue dynasty, his sword god sect will naturally seek justice for everyone. He stand up and many spiritual swords appear beside him. He said that, now that his skills improved, even if they're a peerless genius, he will let them fall in the sword god sect. In front of the sword god sect's mountain, in a small inn, a swordsman put his sword on table and asked innkeeper to make tea. Innkeeper said okay. He give that swordsman tea and ask him, is he Mr. Hanzo who only needs one sword to kill at Kengjin Villa? That swordsman pull out his sword and put it on his neck and ask him, who is he? Innkeeper removed his cap and said to the swordsman that, it's him, Skywind Valley Zhuofeng. That swordsman pull back his sword and ask him, it's really Zhuofeng. He told him that, back then, he fought with him for 3 days and 3 nights, and there was no winner or loser. How did he fall into this field now? Swordsman at him and told him that, his breath, it turns out that he have already broken through the 8th stage of LV-14 Wanhai realm. He asked him, how come he is selling tea here? Innkeeper said it's a long story. He asked Swordsman, why did Hanzo also come to Sword God Sect? Swordsman asked him, is he really here to sell tea? Innkeeper said that, Brother Hanzo didn't know something. Some time ago, a Divine Dragon Sect suddenly appeared. First they destroyed the Izumo Sword Sect, and then killed Bai Yufeng of Bloodcloth Sect in Guyun City. He didn't expect them to come to their Green Lotus faction. Swordsman asked him, did they exterminated Haya faction? Innkeeper said no, otherwise he wouldn't have a chance to sit here. From a different table a young man was listening them. Innkeeper said that that person just came to the door to challenge. Senior Sect Master was defeated without 2 moves under that person's hands. He even almost lost his fortune. That swordsman stand up and ask him, is it a man and a woman, 17 or 18 years old, driving a carriage? Innkeeper said, oh, Brother Hanzo knows them. This Divine Dragon Sect said that they're going to challenge every sect in Gu Yue dynasty. Is that true? Swordsman said to him that Tibetan Sword Villa was also picked by them, and most of the Tibetan swords in the village were treated as trophies, so they were saved from the slaughter. Innkeeper asked why even the Tibetan Sword Villa. He said he heard that they are going to come to the Sword God Sect for revenge. Is that true? That young man from the other table said it is true. He said it is said that the Sword God Sect has persecuted the Divine Dragon Sect for hundreds of years. Who would have thought that Luo Li, the sect master of Divine Dragon Sect who was chased and killed a month ago, suddenly brought his junior brother to the Izumo Sword Sect. The entire Izumo Sword Sect was wiped out, leaving only the sect master Li Qingshan to bring a letter to the Sword God Sect's old swordsman. Innkeeper asked him who is he. That young man said he is Li Donghe. Their East Sea sect also lost to the Divine Dragon Sect. Another guy from other seat said he is Feng Wang, the leader of the Feng Wang gang, and they also lost. All the people who were in that inn said they all lost to Divine Dragon Sect. A guy said they didn't fight, they heard about it, so they surrendered when they came. That young man Li Donghe said, it seems that only the Izumo Sword Sect was destroyed, and everyone just lost the challenge. He asked them, why are they all here? Innkeeper said, he heard that the old swordsman went out for this purpose. Anyway, after losing money, he will no longer pursue it. The duel between Divine Dragon Sect and Sword God Sect is something he must watch. That swordsman raised his cup and said, it turns out that everyone's here to watch the fun. Li Donghe said that he hoped that Divine Dragon Sect can win Sword God Sect, because there is an old sword star. This is 100 years old. He don't know how many layers of skin. It should be changed. A guy shouted that the Divine Dragon Sect seems to be coming. A guy said it was them, the iconic carriage of Divine Dragon Sect. Jun Moxiao was driving the carriage. Inside the carriage, Luo Li and Ye Yun was seating. Ye Yun told Luo Li that today is so lively. He told Luo Li that she have to do her best. This is the best chance to revive the Divine Dragon Sect. Luo Li asked him what's the matter. Ye Yun told her that she'll know when she get out of the carriage. Luo Li comes out of the carriage. Jun Moxiao asked her to let's go. When both of them were walking, Luo Li asked Jun Moxiao, what's going on? Why are there so many people here? Jun Moxiao told her that they are all the people from the defeated sects. and it is estimated that they all came to see the showdown between them and the Sword God Sect. Jun Moxiao smiled and said, "Senior sister, it seems that the name of their divine dragon sect has spread out." All over the Sword God Sect, many disciples were gathered to fight them. When Luo Li and Jun Moxiao gets on top of the mountain, a guy shouted and told others to go and report that the divine dragon sect is finally here.